and he would always say, "Son, do you see? This is art," you know. And it always just felt like a branch to me. Also, what he used to say, if I ever wanted to buy something new, he would say, a great artist never blames his brush. And he said, a great artist can use a stick and make a much more interesting painting than someone who has the best, brushes. It's the way, again, it's the way you see, and that's what's going to be interesting. There was some scripts sent to me, and I was trying to work on a few things, and then I did have this producer from New York, Teresa Park, who met with me, and she just was very determined to work with me, and so she started sending me not scripts, but just material, and she sent me this collection of shorts, and she had bought one of the short stories from this collection, and she asked if I would read it, and then she said, if you don't like it, just read the whole collection, and maybe you'll find something. And I found a very small short story, a story called "Saying Goodbye to Yang," and I said, I can't imagine shooting the short that you just bought, because it was very almost like The Matrix or something, and. But I said I could make this, which was about a family, and it took place over a day, and it was just a father who was annoyed that this thing that he had bought for his daughter had broken down, and he had to fix it. And then throughout that day, he has some memories, his own memories, and he has this sort of, he catches up to grief that he didn't know he had. I guess that was and there was just something really lovely about that kind of family death story, which was not really death. I think if she would have given me a short story that was about a son dying, I would have, though I'm interested in death and all of that, it would have just been too direct. But this idea of this thing that feels like a chore becoming something more existential. So I didn't think about it, I guess all that to say, I didn't think about it from the technology side of it. I thought about it as a kind of speculative family drama side of it. But then technology and how we were going to incorporate it, and what it even meant for the thing that is dying to be a tech as opposed to human. Yeah, then I just dove into that a bit, but it wasn't my entrance into it. The other thing about this as a sci-fi is I thought, I want the special effects to be the language of cinema. I wanted it, instead of tinting memories or, I thought, oh, we're going to change the aspect ratio. We're going to shoot it a little bit differently. A video call, instead of having some effect of it, we're just going to use this aspect ratio. We're going to use a different lens. And so Benjamin and I knew, when you're in the present, this is the aspect ratio, this is the lens. When we're in human memory, it's going to stay in the same aspect ratio, and we had a reason for it, but it's never going to be on sticks. When we're in Yang's memory, we're going to use a different lens. We're going to, it's going to be in 1.85. It's going to be much more open. So we just allowed those choices to be our effect in many ways. Alexander Weinstein, and I got to meet him, and he's the best author you'd want if you're going to adapt something, because he was like, I wrote this and this is yours, make it your own. And we did that over a cup of tea. He's a real tea connoisseur. But he's not Asian, but he wrote the robot as Asian. And what was interesting to me was, as an Asian, once I started digging into it, so yes, I think that just the idea of kind of taking existential questions and putting it in conversation with someone who's not human, I think is always sort of fascinating and allows you to ask that kind of, or have a dialogue that's different. But being Asian, the other thing is, I realized, oh, he's not Asian. He's a construct of Asianness. He's this manufactured idea of Asianness, and almost immediately felt like I related to that, in a way that was even more than Asian characters I've seen in films or whatnot, that there was something about the construct of being Asian that started fascinating me, because I think a lot of us in the diaspora of whatever ethnicity that we're in, it is a real challenge to know where you land in that spectrum of that ethnicity. And I think a lot of Asians struggle with if they're Asian enough or American enough, and then we are also like what that even is or what that even means is often projected onto you, or also you're projecting it based on the media that you've consumed. So that, even more than maybe the human question, was this kind of question of identity. And you see that in Yang. His longing is for a sense of place and space and time. It's not so much like I want to be here. It's not the Pinocchio story. It's a different story. It's a different longing, for a different kind of connection. Yeah.